her creative freedom that she had. And it was in everything, into the finest details of her stores and the layouts. The merchandising was creative, it was fun, it was eccentric. She just has a way about her that is so Barbara.
The way Barbara worked was very feminine and sort of glamorous, and it had this sort of powerful feel about it.
And that people were just, hungry for. I mean, it was just an extraordinary time. And I mean, there were girls coming in the shop and all the time, queues outside.
Well, I must have been sort of 20-ish, 19, 20, and I just hated all the clothes. They were so boring. They were couture, and it was really for older women of 30 who would buy twice a year, and they would buy their whole wardrobe and then wait, do all the fittings and come back to Paris and go off again. It wasn't something that a young person was interested in. And I was starting to earn lots of money, and there was nothing, there was nowhere to go to clothe. I was like the poor relation always, and in these rather glamorous circumstances.
It was something very fresh and new and sort of unique, really, because it was clothes, fashion, whatever you want to call it, was accessible to all young people. It was something very, very new, and you had such a pick from the clothes of so many styles, so many colours, so many patterns, so many different shapes, and then hats and bags and jewellery and boots and tights, all to kind of complete the BIBA look, which was very, very strong and very huge identity.
We were just about to give up, and then Felicity Green on the Mirror rings me up, who I had worked for on other occasions, doing illustrations, and she said, I want a dress. So I trot over there to the Mirror, and she says, I would like a dress. I said, right. There was a big thing going on with Brigitte Bardot at the time in Saint-Tropez on the sort of beach side. And I said, how about pink gingham? And she said, yes. And and she said, I want it for 25 shillings. I said, yes, very obediently, until I got home and Fitz said, 25 shillings? What? You must never price anything again without my, knowledge. Even Felicity was sort of surprised when the actual article came out. It was enormous. It was sort of a third of a page with very, very strong copy. A really good picture by John French with Pauline Stone wearing it. She was the sort of big model at the time. And I remember Felicity ringing up, hey, you got the fabric? I said, oh, yes, of course we have. Have you got manufacturing? Yes, of course we have. It was absolute fit. In any case, we used to go and collect the mail in Oxford Street, which was a mail address. And the first time we went, we didn't know how many people had written up. So I'm sitting in the car waiting for Fitz when to collect the mail. It usually was a little pack like this. And then he comes round the corner with a grin on his face like this, sort of with a sack full of envelopes. And he said, there's more. So he went back again. It was daily was to go collect them. did make a halfpenny each dress, which was a lot of money for cash flow to start a business on. Fitz was amazing on property, and he would just find all these strange places. He said, I've just found this food shop, old food emporium in Church Street. I've gone in and it's fantastic footage and so on, what we need, and there's a basement. But the landlord has interviewed me, and he said, he was a chronologist, and he said, your skull is perfect, but I have to meet your wife. I have to see what her skull's like. So I had to go and see the landlord. I mean, can you imagine something like that happening today?
Everything was fun. She has like such a quirky sort of, way of thinking about, presenting things. I think the beauty of the inside of her store is how inviting it was. It was a place that people wanted to go to and to hang out in. It was exclusive and different, and it was the place where you wanted to be seen. Everybody that was somebody was there.
Models, Jean Shrimpton and Twiggy is huge. She was in the shop a lot, and she wore a lot of the clothes and was a great fan of Barbara's.
The first shop in Abingdon Road, they weren't celebrities, they were all musicians and people that were starting up, like the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and Cilla Black and Cathy McGowan, and we were very associated with Ready Steady Go. It just evolved.
A girl came in from the shop and said, oh, Yoko Ono's in the shop. So Barbara said, oh, you go and see her to me. And so I went out, and she wanted to, and found this little lady, and she wanted to borrow a dress. It was called on APRA at that time, wasn't it? And so I got my little book out and put, yes, Yoko Ono, one dress. And she took a dress, and it was obviously to be brought back, and so that was the end of that. And then that evening on the news, literally on the news, there was Yoko Ono sitting on the sort of stage, and this was her art exhibition, and she was in the BIBA dress, cutting it into pieces.
The English just didn't understand Art Deco, and they didn't like Art Deco. They had absolutely no respect for it. So we go up to the roof garden. There's a roof garden, so we go up there. Oh, God, this is Beatles with us, and he's like playing with the ducks and things. We can't let that, be destroyed. He said, okay, you want it? I'll get it for you. This is so morphed. It's like a fairy story.
Much younger. Now that you found time to grow.
This is the big BIBA building that kind of housed all of the best of Barbara's creativity. I think with Barbara, she has so many layers to her, and it wasn't just clothes. It's, it was makeup, it was the business side of things, it was her just the furniture that the clothes were on, everything had her handwriting to it.
You look beautiful.
I was terribly influenced by Fortnum and Mason at the time, and I just wanted this to be such an amazing sort of experience, not just shopping, but just a nice place to go.
I think with the BIBA logo and her typeface and everything is just so current and relevant for us today, because it does have a bit of a vintage vibe. It's something that people can relate to.
We went through a few logos, but this was the most important one, eventually designed by John McConnell. But do you remember that funeral parlour on the way up to Church Street?
Yes.
It's to pass that, and I thought, oh God, the colours
Yes,
are really
yes,
great.
yeah.
Purple, black and gold.
Yeah.
And that sort of became the thing. Well, I live in Miami, on the beach, and I'm doing a 30th collection with Georgia Dasda. V&A is doing a book. And the other thing I'm doing from Miami is also, I have a website called Icon Club, which is based on illustration, back to illustrations, on silk scarves, on t-shirts. This is called Spaghetti. Sort of things like iPhones and children's and men's, and we're going to grow it.